Hi guys, this is so weird speaking to two people at the same time because of the last year. Everyone's always been in different houses. Anyway.
See, we're together.
Yeah, we're quarantined together.
I was going to ask you, Michael. I mean, you call your wife a badass in the film, and it's fair to say the same can be said of real life too. Am I right in thinking this is the first ever Black female martial arts star? Is that true? And if so, what an amazing accolade to have, and hopefully a chance to open the door to other actresses as well.
Absolutely, and the timing is perfect, right? So I mean, yeah, it never has been. It's never been a leading female martial arts action star, or black female martial arts action star, and so here we are.
And like I said, I didn't know. He pointed it out. Yeah, he pointed it out, and it just was like, wow, that's so awesome. And I love that I'm able to take that position.
Michael, I was wondering, have you got multiple black belts? Is that right? And where did your passion for martial arts begin?
Oh, it started with insecurity as a kid, to be honest with you. But yeah, I was in a rough. I kind of grew up in a rough area, and I think when you grow up like that and you're a sensitive kid, what you want to do is build armor, And so I looked into superheroes and everything else. And I think the closest thing to a superhero that I could become was a martial artist. And so, it's a great thing for someone like me. And, so I really delved into it and it became a love and a mainstay in my life.
And so, Gillian, were you guys training together? And was that quite good to kind of push each other? Because I think my wife wants me and her to go sort of running, and I keep saying no because I can't bear the idea of doing actual exercise. But I know it might be quite good to actually get me out, and that kind of competitive element to it could be quite useful as well.
Well, I mean, we don't really compete very much, but
but we do love training together. It's fun. We push each other,
Yeah.
So
we do everything together. We're kind of sickeningly like, kind of
couple.
Yeah.
So yeah, how was it working together then? Because obviously, I'm sure when you're both involved in projects, it can be quite all encompassing to work on something. Kind of takes up a lot of your mind. Did you take it home with you in the evenings, these characters and this project, and kind of discuss it when you were cooking and stuff like that, or do you almost have to leave it on set and have a bit of a disconnect from it?
I think we disconnect.
Well, with this movie, we're playing ourselves anyway.
This particular movie,
so
absolutely.
We stayed in character. It's like we basically brought the characters to the screen.
That's what's so great with these characters. They were so much like us that, when we got the script, we were like, God, I feel like it's written for us.
Yeah, and for me, I'm usually playing like badasses that are just. And that I've actually played something closer to what I am, like
just
at
a
home.
Big nerd.
Yeah.
And of course, you work alongside, in this instance, Mickey Rourke, I should say, he's obviously a kind of icon of cinema, and he's kind of been around for a long time. What was it like collaborating with him on this project?
It was great for me. Like you said, he's an icon. When I heard he was going to come on and be the bad guy, I was like, wow, just saying I'm doing a film with Mickey Rourke as my nemesis, like, that's just cool. And, he brings a lot to the character. He's very believable in the role. So it was great. And Mike has worked with him, and they've known each other for a while. So.
Yeah, I think with Mickey, Mickey to me is a reminder, and he's like, he represents that line of like the last of the old Hollywood, like with the these people who are just trained in such a way where they just every word they speak is absolutely believable. They're just so enriched with character.
Yeah, and he's into martial arts as well, isn't he? Have I got that right? Is he?
Well, boxing. Yeah, he's been boxing for a long time. Yeah, probably one of the only actors to actually compete professionally in boxing.
Oh, and Gillian, because I wonder, because obviously, look, the film has got some really kind of fun kind of elements with kind of action, kind of undercurrents, and it's a thriller in many ways, but it has got quite a serious storyline attached to it. I just wondered if, in terms of research, if you spoke to any victims of like abuse or anything, or read up on that, because obviously your character has a difficult past, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't speak to any victims, but I did read. I'm just like that in general. I research everything. I don't care what it is. I'm like researching it. And I loved doing a film that, it's like I said, it's such a relevant topic. It's a topic that a lot of people don't talk about, that I think needs to be talked about more, because it's happening every day all around the world. And, we have young girls being taken and never seen again. And we have 3 daughters. So it hits home, very close. But I definitely researched a lot. And Mike and I have done some, what do you call them?
Cast.
Yeah. Well, we'll cast.
Yeah. Well, I done some films years ago about the same thing, about human trafficking, one called Skin Trade. And with Dolph Lundgren, who was very connected to cast, is it's about against sexual human trafficking in the organizations. We've learned a great deal about what's going on. So we had a lot of knowledge of that going into this movie.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the relevance. I mean, it's huge. It's a big in the news cycle in England as well. There's a lot of spotlight on women's safety on the streets at the moment. So even though obviously this is, like we said, a big kind of action thriller, it's still important, isn't it, in genre movies of this nature to have a kind of level of sensitivity and respect for the victims.
Oh, absolutely. It's important. We need. I mean, I always enjoy watching a film that is on a topic that is something that's actually going on in the world. Like I said, it sheds light on it. It brings a lot of attention to it that, some people may not know about. And
my wife, Gillian, and I have also done put out some videos for self-defense, for women's self-defense, actually very streetwise, common sense self-defense. And, that's we continue to do those type of things.
You don't have to be a martial artist, but you know how to kick butt if you need to in any situation that could protect you.
Of course, it's not, I mean, not just the videos of self-defense that you guys have sort of done. You have this kind of admirable, sincere take on love, and they're so open with discussing your relationship and how happy you make each other. Do you think that this positive dialogue is something we should be discussing more freely in society, rather than ever feel embarrassed to speak about our feelings?
Oh, absolutely. I think nowadays there's such a negative outlook on love. It's more negative images of people fighting and divorce and bashing one another. So I think it's really important. That's why I'm a big advocate of always showing our love in a good relationship and a healthy relationship, and how important it is. And there are healthy relationships out there. We just don't see them. They focus on the negative ones all the time, especially with reality TV and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe it's kind of had a negative default setting with most folks, because if it bleeds, it leads. But in my belief, my firm belief is that the positive outweighs the negative in all cases. When I drive home, or when you look out at night, and there's thousands of lights, I think those lights represent people who are living happily, but they just don't make the papers. They
don't focus on
so
it.
And there's no interest in focusing on what's good, but because what's good is taking care of itself. So I just want to encourage people to know that there's more of us than the negative, but we just don't see it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's true. We don't see it enough. But and Gillian, I was going to ask as well, because you seem to be one of those people who kind of excels in many areas. I was reading about sort of your bio, and sort of from athletics to academia. But how did you eventually stumble into drama and acting? Then did you realize right away when you did sort of ignite that passion, this was going to be a career for you?
Oh gosh, I always loved doing, even when I was a kid, I would put on plays. I'd get the kids in the neighborhood, let's put on a play. And I loved acting, and my family makes fun of me because they say, even in conversation, I have to act out everything. And I've always been like that. They make fun of me. But no, I knew as soon as, I want to say elementary school, I got into my first drama class, and I just kept always taking drama into high school, and I was in all the plays. So it got me early on. But once I think it was in my sophomore year of college, I was studying to go into to be an FBI agent. And I minored in dramatic arts. And then I kind of just went, I did like a reverse. And I knew that's what my passion was. And that's what I really enjoyed doing.
Do you think in some ways then doing acting kind of allows you to kind of step into all of those different other mindsets, because you do it through the prism of your character? So you could technically be an FBI agent just in a movie instead.
It's so true. It's so true. I love characters. Like even with auditions, I know my husband probably makes fun of me because every time I have to audition, I get so into it. I got to find the perfect outfit and I need to look just like the character, because it helps me really build in my head what this character is and who they are and what their background is. So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun career.
Michael, I mean, you've got a couple of directing jobs underway, is that right? Or stuff in the works? Is it the Outlaw Johnny Black and Crossroads Cafe? Is there any update on those projects?
Well, yeah, I mean, well, that one is being completed, and I've directed 3 other movies in the past, and so yeah, so those are just in the works, and we're moving forward. Actually, I have a location scouting to do for another movie, like in a few hours.
So then is it Crossroads Cafe? I've got what's that one about for those who aren't sort of aware yet? Because it looks quite interesting.
Well, that's very it's very personal. It's got a lot of autobiographical elements in it to my life. It's kind of it focuses on the fact that all of us, we're always we've been influenced by images growing up, and depending on who you are and what those images are, it kind of determines the path that you follow. It's kind of like, if I would have walked to the right, I meet Gillian. If I would have walked to the left, what would my life be like? So, it's not, it hasn't been a script quite like it. And it's something that was always in my mind. So I'm very happy that, it looks like we're gonna be able to bring this out to the people.
So how was this past year for you guys? Obviously, it's literally come up to like a year now since a lot of the world kind of locked down. There's 2 people who are so creative, and you seem to have so much stuff going on at all times. Seem to be sort of constantly kind of like pushing each other and pushing yourselves. How was that like last year when everyone, for a couple of months, kind of had to take a step back and there wasn't an awful lot to do creatively out there? I wondered how you guys coped.
I think we cope just fine. We're both homebodies. We enjoy being home, and we actually were pretty lucky because we stayed working pretty consistently once the first part of the fear of COVID. Once we were able to get past that point, both he did a few movies, I did a movie TV show.
We started with a movie called Take Back.
Take Back was the first
through this COVID thing. That was like one of the first things shot in this area in Southern California at the time.
And I think, when I look at the final film, the fact that we had to work under so many restrictions and changes and so much stuff due to COVID, I think we got a pretty good film out of it.
Yeah, it helped that our characters, we live together, so you can shoot several things with us, and because
we were already quarantined together.
Now, they were doing that over in the UK on like our soap operas. If someone had to have a scene where they were like kissing their partner because of COVID restrictions, their actual partner would come in, and they could be like a lawyer or a doctor, but they just pop into the studio and do
exactly.
But anyway, I'm out of time, but thank you so much for chatting to me today, and best of luck with the release of this film, because like you said, it is great, and I think you both kick ass, which is always great to see.
Thank you so much. It's great talking to you.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey